Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone, and we turn now to cricket. The West Indies completed a clean sweep of victories against Ireland women, sending the visitors home without a win in their T20 series behind a red-hot Hayley Matthews, who put on dominant displays with both bat and ball. In closing out the Windies sweep over the weekend, Matthews became only the third West Indies woman to register a T20 international hat-trick after her incredible spell against the Irish. In the third ODI, she finished as the player of the match in all three T20 matches, en route to receiving player of the series. In Saturday's victory, Matthews took 4 for 14, including a hat-trick to restrict Ireland to 116 for 9 before blasting a 34-ball 48, starring in an 80-run second wicket stand with Alia Alain, who scored an unbeaten 49. West Indies finished at 120 for 2 to win with 11 balls to spare. After the completion of the series win, Matthews, she was grateful for the support of her teammates. I just want to thank all the girls who have supported me since I've become captain. Thank you for backing me up out on the field. We have bigger challenges ahead, and I look forward to their support. The skipper also reflected on her impressive performance in the series by saying, coming into the series, and every time that I put on my West Indies jersey, I tried to go out there and do really well, whether that be batting, bowling, or fielding. And I was able to do pretty well in more than one area of my game this series, which I'm obviously pretty happy about, and happy with the way I was able to go out and contribute to the team's success as well. Joining us via telephone to speak about the Windies women is veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira. Reds, she's up there, I believe, especially in ODI rankings. She's labelled as the best all-rounder in the world in that format. What are your thoughts on her in the aftermath of her performances in this series?
Well, she will struggle to beat this, but I think one must bear in mind that she is so key to the batting. But, I mean, her 100 was, in fact, a class act. And the scores that followed were really outstanding. The shots off the back foot, driving towards the cover, and the spell you just referred to, 0 for 14. And, you know, she came in at times when Ireland were starting to look good with the opening partnership, 20 or 30 on the board, and she would come in and bowl her off spin, and straight away she was slow to scoring down and pick up wickets.
Of course, and she has admitted it herself that she will have bigger challenges ahead, but she has really embraced this captaincy without much of a sweat, hasn't she? And she's really grown into the role, and we've seen that maturity in this series.
Yes, I think at the time when they gave her the captaincy, there was an option on Dottin, who unfortunately is really being missed by the team. But Dottin was 31. It was the right move to appoint her captain, and I think she just, fits the position so nicely. But coming back to the actual series, I think it came, and I'm sure that Hayley Matthews would admit, it came at the right time. This is the only series at home. This is the only series before the new coach from South Australia takes over. And there's no doubt a lot of work to be done. And maybe the main concentration is not so much the bowling. And there are some questions at the end of the interview I would just like to throw in. But I think the coach and the backroom staff, whoever that is, will have to concentrate on the batters. The batters, I think, need to improve. I mean, you've had Matthews was outstanding. There was Aline, who you just mentioned, I got 50-odd. But I think overall, with Henry now coming back to full fitness, I think there's a lot of work to be done on the batting. The bowling seem to be capable of being able to bowl outside.
Right, and Reds, you mentioned Chanel Henry, and it was really, really good to see Chanel, back to what we expect of her, just stepping up, because we've always said when the key players don't perform in the West Indies women's team, the team obviously suffers, and we need to see more players coming to the forefront and stepping up with the bat. You mentioned Chanel Henry, and do you think that Chanel is on the right path and she could keep up this consistency that we've seen?
Yes, I think that you have to take this series victory over Ireland in a measured way. Ireland is not one of the rated sides. So, although we are very happy with the performance overall, I think we could have seen maybe a better total batting performance. If you analyze it, there was not, there were what? Matthews and two others outstanding performance. I think that's one area that the coach, the backroom staff will have to concentrate on. I think the spin department seemed to be extremely strong, of course, with your sister to come back. Fletcher, who of course turned a mother recently, but she will be back to full fitness after getting her child. What also impressed me was Moniswa. I thought at 19 years of age, she looked a very good prospect indeed. And there were one or two other spinners. I think there are two spinners from Guyana who didn't make the cut, who probably could be recalled. And I think the spin department is in very good shape. But I think the focus will have to be improving the batting and the batting lineup.
Yes, you mentioned Ashmini Munasar coming in for Karishma, and I think she really has stepped into the team and took up the role very well. I'm really happy to see, because one of the concerns we've always had is who's going to step into those roles when the senior players aren't able to do so, or who's going to pressure them, Reds, for that spot, to keep them on their toes. So I'm very, very pleased to see Ashmini Munasar getting those wickets, and she came 2 not out. So that was very, very pleasing. What are your thoughts on Cherry-Ann Fraser? She also had a good tournament.
Yes. If you look at the real outstanding people, you'll have to include her. You'll have to include Henry. You'll have to include Aline. And there was a lot of promising shoots. Young James didn't get a lot of runs, but you can see that she's got the making of a class player. She's brilliant at backward point. I mean, we thought Dutton was brilliant at backward point. Oh, she is a little rocket at backward point. And I think basically the side probably needs another young fast bowler. I mean, there was Glasgow from St. Vincent, who's a pretty good all-round volleyball, football, and track. I think she may be included whenever the squad gets together. And I think that the future looks bright and will improve, no doubt, when the South Australian coach get to work with them. I would expect that coming from Australia, he will be pushing them very hard.
Reds, thanks so much for your time, brother. We'll link up again soon, all right?
If I could just make a couple of points.
Sure.
What's the position with Selman, former vice captain? She was not selected. I can also tell you that Stephanie Taylor, her back is not the problem. She had a little muscle pull, and she will be okay to play for Guyana in the ladies CPL. There is a women's committee. Kumar Rodney from Antigua, the president, is part of that. We need to hear more about their work, whether they're going to meet with the Trinidad Prime Minister, who has the CARICOM committee, to deal with the question of women or girls really playing cricket at the primary and secondary school. And we have to ask a question about the Knight sisters. They were outstanding the last time the West Indies played. There's been no press release on them. Yeah. And we are told that they might be just going into business of their own, but we can't afford, the pool is so small, we cannot afford to lose them at all. We need every hand on deck. And in that cricket committee, I hope they remember the three solutions who were outstanding for the West Indies. They are still around and can make a contribution.
I endorse those points, Reds. Thanks so much for bringing it up with the latest, as per usual, on West Indies women's cricket. Thanks so much, Reds, for... All right, we'll take another break. When we return, we have Interactive for you. Stay with us.